Hi everyone, this is Miss Carrie. During our last lesson, we learned about the different elements of a comic and how to create a simple comic ourselves. Today's lesson is actually the final lesson of our unit together. We're going to be creating a superhero comic to serve as the final product of this unit. One thing you'll need to do before we get started drawing is getting out the art that you made in the last few lessons we did together. So here with me, I have the portrait of my superhero that I created. This may look familiar to you. And I also have a copy of the comic that we created last time. So this is similar to what you may have made last time. And I have mine right here too, but you're going to need the story that you wrote during our first lesson together as well. So without further ado, let's get started. This is the rubric that we will be referencing throughout this exercise, so feel free to pause here and take a good look at this so that you understand the requirements. As for materials, in front of you, you should have your comic template, pencil, black pen, a straight edge, and some colored pencils or other coloring materials. For this next part, I will be showing you how to create your own comic template if you don't have access to the ones that were sent out through Schoology. If you don't need this section, feel free to skip ahead to this timestamp and we'll get on with the rest of the lesson. To create this though, I'm going to use my straight edge and line it up with the sides of the paper like we've done in the past, to create the horizontal lines and then the vertical lines that are going to make up this template. I've decided to create 2 smaller frames on the bottom and 3 on the top to make sure that I have my 5 in total. Not to spoil it, but here is the comic that I'm going to be creating today. You can see that it has 5 frames and it fulfills all of the things that were in the rubric. So let me walk you through how I got here. First thing I'm going to do once I have my frames set up is leave space for the narration or the captions. This is the same thing that we did last time, and I think it's a really great practice because you need to know where you're going to put those captions so that the story flows well. You'll need to plan out with your individual story what you're going to write in each of these captions. And thankfully, I've already planned that out for myself. We're still in the planning phase here, but as part of the next step, you are going to be sketching an outline of what you're generally going to draw in each of the frames. So here's a little bit of what I'm sketching for mine. You see that I'm not including too many details, but I do want to make sure I know where my characters are going to be, what poses they're going to be in, and any other details that feel important to iron out right now. I want to walk you through the specific steps of one of my frames, so let's work on the first frame together for a moment. I need to erase the messy sketch lines that I had because those were just for reference for myself if I forgot what I was supposed to be drawing here. So I erased those and then I'm going to be going over them in pencil. We're just drawing in pencil during this part. You can see I'm making my buildings all different shapes. I'm still including my superhero just as a stick figure in this one. I want to encourage you to shy away from stick figures, but because my character is so far away from the perspective that we are using, it's not going to be possible to capture all the details of what they look like here. Then the next step is to outline everything with black pen that you want to be the permanent lines of this sketch. Feel free to use your straight edge if it feels appropriate for drawing those lines as straight as possible. And here I am, you can see I'm going over everything that's in my panel. The next step, as I'm still working within this one frame, doing one frame at a time, is I'm going to erase all of the pencil lines in this sketch. Erasing my lines means that I've made room for color to be added to this sketch. I'm personally going to start by coloring in the buildings and giving a lot of variety with these dark neutral colors here. Finish up the coloring, I'll also add some color to my character and to the sky. It's important to give the background some details no matter what the setting of your comic is. This first frame is done now, and I'm going to repeat these same steps with the rest of the frames. There we go. One thing that you may notice here is that we outlined everything in black pen except for the frames of the comic. So I'm going to take my straight edge and go over those pencil marks, giving that frame just as much emphasis as everything else in the comic. This then is my finished product. This is my finished comic. Now I just want to make sure that I actually check all the boxes on the rubric and have incorporated everything that I need to. So just to double check, I've included 5 frames in my comic. I have a full body shot of both my superhero and my additional character. I also have one close-up of my superhero. And I also have some of the comic elements that we talked about, like a speech bubble and captions throughout the comic. Now that I have all of these elements, I should be good to go to turn this finished comic in. Thank you all so much for following along during these lessons with me, both on these videos and in class. I loved working with all of you, and I wish you the best of luck with the rest of the year in Mrs. Wilson's art class. You all did a wonderful job learning and creating art with me, and I can't wait to see what you came up with today. But that wraps up our lesson, so thank you for watching. Bye!